warrior, a true friend of ours, died today. Father James Bernard Lloyd, the longest living Paulist priest in the world, 103 years old. His 103rd birthday was just a couple of weeks ago, April 3rd. I'm telling you this because this man was an inspiration. This man was an educator. He was a man about town as far as with the community. Let me just tell you a little bit about Father Lloyd, his inspiration. First of all, he became a priest 76 years ago. And he mentioned one time, my husband and I would meet him in the neighborhood. We live in the middle of New York City in a neighborhood called Hell's Kitchen. And Father Lloyd was born, his parents were in vaudeville. And his father was Jewish and his mother was Catholic, and he had a sister. And they basically really put the kids in the trunk and traveled around. He traveled the circuit. But he was born in Hell's Kitchen. This was a rough neighborhood 100 plus years ago. He would tell us stories of swimming in the Hudson River. That was their beach. Columbus Circle, the Lincoln Center area. That was known as San Juan Hill. And he lived there his entire life. And he lived at the parish house, St. Paul's, 60th and 10th Avenue. And I want you to know about Father Lloyd because, I interviewed him not long ago on my radio program, State of the Nation. And, it was Christmas time, as a matter of fact. It was Easter, maybe. Yeah. And everybody told me when that was over, off the air, they got chills, because of just his voice. He had a booming voice, and his mind was solid. He was a big guy. And we'd meet at the local coffee shop diner, the Flame, my husband and I. And you always felt so good because it reminded me of this warrior. Was so interesting to talk to because you could challenge him. You could ask questions. It reminded me of when I first came to New York, and in college we would have these salons where all types would get together and just hash out current events or politics or what's going on at the school. And everybody, this, that, the other thing, and then we'd all leave and be friends. Or, you'd go out and get a cup of coffee. And it reminded me of that. And Father Lloyd, he was interesting. He had great stories. He also was very much, he had that show business in his blood. For many years, late 50s into the early 70s, he hosted on Channel 4, our local here in New York, WNBC, a Sunday morning show. I actually remember it as a kid. And he would have people on like Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch. And it was all about God in your life. And he had Jackie Gleason on and William F. Buckley and all these different types talking about God in their life, God in the community. And he was also the voice for many years of behind the scenes. Now you have to kind of be I don't know if they played it, but, growing up in Jersey and certainly then New York, the St. Patrick's Cathedral Midnight Mass, he was the voice, that voice behind the scenes, narrating the Mass. He did that for many years. He was just a community fixture. My husband and I, have been blessed being his friends. He is the true definition of a warrior. He told me when he was a young novitiate, I think it was 1942, he said he did, he's always a loudmouth. He would say, I used to take a box and truly go put it in the middle of Columbus Circle and stand there and preach and talk and this and make all kinds of noise. But he told us once he was very young, and they sent him to Africa, and he was there for I think 7 years or so as a missionary, and then they brought him back. He almost alluded, it's kind of his punishment for being such a young, brash, loudmouth. But he spent his entire life in Hell's Kitchen. And how lucky were we and the community to have somebody like this? Because he would always say, keep going, Lynn, keep talking, keep preaching about the children. He was an amazing warrior. He's going to be sorely missed, but 103 years old, what a life. What a life. What a man truly of God. But put all that aside, he was open. We would talk about gay, trans, kids, all kinds of things. It was a joy to know him, an honor. And our Flame Diner dates are going to be sorely missed. But I leave you with this thought. There are inspiring people out there. He is one that inspired me to do bigger and do better. And he would finish up with, his piece of advice would be, don't take yourselves too seriously. He would say that to everybody. So this is for Father James B. Lloyd. We are inspired by him. We are honored and lucky to have known him. And he will be missed dearly. He is the true definition, Father James B. Lloyd. And I'm going to put in the body of this video information. I want you to read about him. And don't forget to subscribe to our videos. We want to enlighten. We want to make you feel better. We want to give you purpose in all of this horror that's around all of us. So here's to you, Father James B. Lloyd. Thank you. Community creates change, and you certainly did in this Hell's Kitchen neighborhood in the middle of New York City. Thank you.